The Zephyrs, Joe Master Lee.
And
And Larry.
Hey! Welcome, Larry, to the show.
yes,
Nice to be here.
Yeah, hey, must be nice to be able to, come out of the casket,
Yeah, the quarantine.
the quarantine. Oh my
Back to the
God.
Yeah.
All right, so this is going to be a hell of a crazy episode, yo, because we're going to hear what it's like to get COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be more interesting than most COVID stories because Larry here, I mean, it really was like a life or death situation when he got it because,
Well,
as you know,
uh-huh.
he was overweight before.
Mm.
No, not just overweight, obese, 500-pounder.
Right.
And just to think, had he caught COVID when he was at 500 pounds? Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a story here. So, you got over COVID now. That's the reason why you're here. That's why you don't have a mask on.
I've gone through we still have some distance. So
There's a little bit of distance. I mean, at this point, you're immunized.
That's right.
You have COVID. I'm the only one who's likely to die at this point. Am I understand that right?
The rough side. Yeah, well,
Or me and Yoshi, because I heard dogs can get COVID now too. But
yeah, I think gorillas at the zoo just came down with it too. I saw that go by.
I'm very closely related to gorillas, so
Ay,
I'm
ay,
a little
ay.
scared. But yeah, we're being a little careful. He did a temperature check. Everyone's safe at this point. She did a detox bath. And that's why we're doing this. So still be safe. But you just got out of quarantine.
My 2 weeks was Sunday.
On Sunday. So it's been a couple of days now. Dude, I was like ready
I'm really
to
glad
like.
we did not meet.
You're really glad.
I'm so glad I would have brought it over, you know?
Because I was thinking, we're gonna be, working together. I'm trying to show more often. So why don't we just, meet up like for coffee or something like that? Oh man, I would have hated you after that. Honestly, no joke. But I mean, you recovered from it pretty well. I mean,
Wait,
well-
you have symptoms?
Oh yeah, I went through. I didn't have horrible symptoms. I was lucky in that aspect.
I mean,
No smell, no taste.
Yeah,
You
I
have to
still
say-
could taste. Like I could tell the difference between sweet, salty, bitter, stuff like that. But like if I got a piece of fruit, I can tell it's fruit. It's sweet, but I don't know what it is if I don't look at it.
Mm.
so the only
Lose
thing
the
you can tell is
nuance.
because you're looking at it.
Well, yeah, I mean I could taste the sweetness of it or whatever it was, but I couldn't taste the nuance. So it's close at all. It just tastes about the same.
As you kind of paint it, and here's the thing, like I don't want to trivialize it because the way you describe it, I lost my taste. It's almost like a fun YouTube video, right? It's like, hey, let's try something to eat. I don't taste anything, right? I see some videos out there, YouTubers doing that, and you're like, oh, it wasn't too bad. But you were really scared about like what this meant and just cycling through your head about like, had you caught this even just last year?
Yeah,
Because you went through dramatic weight loss.
yeah.
The odds were not good for you.
If you're young, if you're old, it does not matter. If you're obese, if your BMI is 40 or higher, that's the little number. That's the morbidly obese number, which I was definitely above. Then you have a high chance of being on a ventilator and then high
Right.
chance of dying.
Yeah.
All right, so wait a minute. What was the stat again?
You have a 26% higher chance of being put on a ventilator and a 36% chance higher of dying. Just because of that alone, it goes up. Just from being morbidly obese.
Just be morbid. Now, what about if you
If you have other pre-existing conditions,
So you had high blood pressure
high blood
too.
pressure, I was pre-diabetic.
You're pre-diabetic.
Is
it multiplying at this point?
I've had pneumonia multiple times in my life, actually.
No kidding.
Whoa.
I had walking pneumonia when I was a sophomore and as a senior in high school twice, and I've had bronchitis multiple times.
Do you have asthma?
I'm the only one in my family who doesn't have asthma. But
I don't
have
know.
a
It sounds
whole
like you
family
have a
full
lot
of
more
people.
worse than asthma if you're getting
Yeah.
bronchitis. And
So like I've had
pneumonia often.
multiple respiratory infections in the past.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
like I'm already got those little risk factors
Right.
on there, and then you throw that weight on top of there. And when you're that obese, you're not healthy anyway. So your immune system's not working like it's supposed to. You're not getting proper nutrition. Everything is bad. You've got autoimmune issues, so your body's busy fighting itself. How's it going to fight this virus?
Right.
So I
Right.
mean,
So what was going through your head when you finally did
found
get
out,
it?
yeah.
when I finally got it, there was actually a lot of relief because I'm like, I'm glad it wasn't COVID-17. Like if there was a novel virus that came out in 2017 and if it had taken over the world 2 years earlier, you know what I'm saying?
19 means the year that it came out?
That's the year they discovered it.
I didn't even know that.
It's a SARS.
I thought it was like the 19th version of hell or something like that.
No,
like
it's like
hurricane number 19.
I could be wrong, but my understanding is it's the SARS coronavirus, and it's a novel virus, and it's because it's a deviation in that virus that happened in 2019.
19.
I see. So if there were two of them
Back
that
in
came
Wuhan,
out,
China.
then what is it? 19.1, 19.2? Is that how they go?
I think there's just variations of the COVID-19 virus now, but so like if they had discovered this virus in 2017 and it had spread the world, we'd be calling it COVID-17. As far as I know, I could be wrong.
Did I know that? Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my.
I could be completely wrong. Maybe my understanding is wrong. And I was like,
Well, you're the one who did the
myself.
research on this, so
Well,
if
not on
we're
that,
wrong,
no.
you
You
know
can
who
blame
to
me.
leave
But yeah,
comments
so
on
like
for.
if this had come out, let's say in 2017, before I'd lost weight when I was sitting at like 480, near 500 pounds, then we would have been quarantined, right? So, and everyone would have been going home. So I've been locked up in a house, I would definitely have put more weight on because I wouldn't have been doing anything. I would have just been eating whatever's in the house. Probably got a little bit bigger. Depression would have been worse. So just the world changing would have been worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let alone then if I get it. Who knows?
So you were you got thin before coronavirus actually hit, right?
Yeah. I was basically almost to my end goal weight when it hit. Like the world shut down the end of February, beginning of March, right? Was that right? Yeah. For at least the United States.
Yeah.
And I hit my goal weight end of April.
So 300 pounds over what, a year?
It was about 280 pounds in a year. Yeah, a year and 6 months, year and a half, year and 5 months, something like that. Yeah,
That's insane.
So,
I mean, it's
like two different Larrys. If pre weight loss Larry had gotten this, I don't know if
You're
that
gonna
Larry would
survive.
live. That there's another universe where that Larry, if you believe in the whole multiple universe
right.
thing.
If you watch MCU, you know there's parallel
Yeah,
universes.
that parallel universe where Larry decided not to stick with the diet and lose the weight, he caught COVID-19 and died, possibly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no kidding.
So, and even when I had it, right? So I get diagnosed, and you're always still scared because you hear those stories about those people who are like, he was a young 30-year-old marathon runner, and he was dead in a week. You're like, what? So I don't know how many of those stories are accurate, but you hear them, and you still get a little scared. So there's that, but at the same time, I just felt weird and tired. I slept a lot.
Yeah.
I did a lot of sleeping.
I think that's the main thing that you have to do. Once you get the COVID, sleep and eat. That's all you have to do. Sleep and eat. Recover.
Yeah, my sister-in-law got it. She had a hard time with the eating part because once she lost her sense of smell and taste, she didn't want to eat.
Right. But
I'm an old fat guy. I can put it down if I need to.
You gotta have to force it. Because my coworker, they're couple, and they both got it, right? But the wife, the husband was just like very weak. He couldn't eat nothing. But the wife was just like, no, you better eat. Eat it.
Why?
And
that's a perfect way to lose weight. Like you come out of a sickness and
no,
suddenly
he's
you
not.
look
No.
like you lost 20 pounds.
You need nutrition. So even he was vomiting after, like he couldn't even, but she was like forcing him, you have to eat. And then
If you're vomiting
sleep,
every time you're
and then
eating,
you have to eat.
what nutrition are you getting?
You're still getting some.
As long as you
So
don't
you're
lose it
not
all.
gonna throw up right away after you eat. You just digested it and absorbed it through your But yeah, it's really because remember some YouTuber were also the Filipino celebrity. She was also the same thing. She was just like resting the whole time and just eat and vitamins too. So
It's interesting, a disease like this, how there is so many stories that we now start seeing on YouTube where it almost normalizes like it's not a big deal. And it's just interesting to hear your perspective on it because the reality is it's a very slippery slope to you're fine to suddenly you feel like you're dying, like where you suddenly need a ventilator. And even like people get a ventilator, like, there's a good chance you'll recover from it.
They've gotten better at
They've gotten a lot better at this than initially where actually, a lot of, maybe I think over 50% of people didn't even come off the ventilator.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And I've seen some of those janky ventilators they're assembling just to keep up with the initial batch. And I'm like, I can see why. But you know, what's interesting about that is, and I think why so many people question like how serious of a problem this is and why cities are getting shut down is that they don't understand like this isn't just about like, well, let's prevent the spreading of it. It fundamentally is about making sure that the hospitals never reach capacity. Because if you can go to the hospital and you can get treated and you can get on a ventilator, you have a high chance of recovering, no problem. But if a hospital reaches capacity, literally no more room for doctors, no more beds, you start to see every person who doesn't come in, that spike. Because everyone who can't get a ventilator is essence just choking to death instantly.
It's triage.
And at that point, you're going to see numbers skyrocket. And so the correlation, like with cities shutting down or like restaurants shutting down, isn't like how much it's spread. It's how filled how full these hospitals are. And so like in LA, like it was shut down and people were complaining. Like restaurants, there was literally a lockdown where like you weren't even allowed to leave your house kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's because they were at like nearly 99% capacity. Like they were on the cusp of no mas. And that's what people don't understand, like how quickly a disease like this, which sounds, a lost sense of smell, suddenly turns into, high mortality rate.
Yeah.